Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, Labour's Deputy Leader Tom Watson has been defending his conduct over his public comments on the sex abuse allegations made against the former Home Secretary Lord Brittan, who died earlier this year. It follows the disclosure that police have dropped an investigation into alleged rape as there wasn't enough evidence. The MP has faced calls to apologise to Lord Brittan's family, but Mr Watson has been telling the Commons this afternoon that he was right to have raised the issue. For more on what was said, let's join Vicky Young, our chief political correspondent. Vicky, what was said and how was it received?
Well, Tom Watson has been under pressure in recent days to apologise to the family of Lord Brittan. Lord Brittan's brother said that Mr Watson had made unfounded accusations against his brother. They centred around an alleged rape back in 1967. Mr Watson wrote to the Director of Public Prosecutions, and that seems to have prompted the police to reopen the case. The case has since been dropped, although Mr Brittan's family and Mr Brittan himself did not know that there had been no evidence against him to proceed before he died. So there has been growing pressure on Mr Watson to apologise to the family.
It's clear, I think, that he's got a lot of questions to answer, and the House of Commons Select Committees are quite rightly going to ask him some questions, and so I'm sure that he should answer those questions and examine his conscience about whether he's said enough so far.
About half an hour in the House of Commons, a Conservative MP, Nicholas Soames, got up and said that Mr Watson had vilely traduced the reputation of Lord Brittan.
Order. Point of order. Point of order, Sir Nicholas Soames.
Speaker, I rise on a very serious matter indeed to ask you whether you have had any request from the Honourable Gentleman, the member for West Bromwich East, to seek your permission for him to make a personal statement apologising for the way in which he has so vilely traduced the late Lord Brittan, and further for him to have a chance to apologise to Lord Brittan's dignified and courageous widow.
Well, I'm grateful to the Right Honourable Gentleman for his point of order. The short answer is that I have had no such request, and it is incumbent upon each member to take responsibility for his or her statements within this House. There is a wider obligation, of course, to comply with the expectations and requirements of the Code of Conduct, which applies to all members. However, the Honourable Gentleman is signalling to me that he would like to respond to what has been said, and it is right that he should have the opportunity to do so. Mr Tom Watson.
Mr Speaker, I understand that honourable and right honourable members feel aggrieved that Lord Brittan was interviewed by the police and that they're angry with my use of language. But I'm sure they'd also agree that when anyone is accused of multiple sexual crimes by numerous completely unrelated sources, the police have a duty to investigate, no matter who it is. My letter was prompted by Jane's concern that procedures were not followed. It's not for me to judge the validity of these claims, but I believe I was right to demand that guidelines were adhered to. I also believe that very many victims in this country have been too terrified to speak out for too long. And it's not all over just because a few famous people have gone to prison. And it hasn't all got out of hand just because people in high places are scared. The survivors of child abuse have been belittled and ridiculed for too long. That's the real scandal here. Earlier, the Prime Minister has said that I should examine my conscience. Well, I think we all need to examine our consciences in this House. We've presided over a state of affairs where children have been abused and then ignored, dismissed and then disdained. If anyone deserves an apology, it's them.
Order. This is not an occasion for a debate on this matter, and to be fair, I don't think any member would expect such, but the Right Honourable Gentleman has perfectly properly raised his point of order, and I thank him for the terms in which he's done so, and the Honourable Gentleman, Member for West Bromwich East, has responded. and we must now leave it there and proceed with our next parliamentary business. I trust that it is on a wholly unrelated point of order.
It is on a point of general principle, Mr. Speaker.
No. Order. The honourable gentleman must resume his seat. If the honourable gentleman was seeking to raise a totally unrelated point of order, that is to say, not related to anything that we have just covered and upon which I have given a definitive ruling, I would hear him. But I rather suspect from the prevarication that it was not totally unrelated. The honourable gentleman... Order. The honourable gentleman will speak when I give him the opportunity and not before. If the honourable gentleman has his opportunity, he better not be a chancer and he better not fluff it.
I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, you will give guidance to members as to what is the proper means of raising legitimate areas of concern with public authorities, so as to ensure that legitimate matters which shall properly be raised, which concern all members of this House, are not done so in such a way as might appear to impinge upon the independence of the judicial and investigatorial process. Can you give guidance to...
Well, the honourable gentleman is kind. The honourable gentleman I've known for many years, and he's always been kind. But I think that he somewhat overinterprets my brief and my wisdom. I don't think it is for the chair in this House to counsel members as to how to proceed in matters of this kind. What I would say is we have, as citizens, the same rights as everybody else. In respect of our membership of this House, we have certain additional freedoms and privileges which must be exercised with great care. We also have responsibilities, and I reference those, as the honourable gentleman would acknowledge, with particular regard to the code of conduct. Now, I know that the honourable gentleman is only ever seeking to be helpful, but I hope that he is either content or will at any rate today satisfy himself with my response. We'll leave it there.
Now, interestingly, they're listening to Conservative MPs. As they heard that afterwards, there were shouts of shame, shame. And Nicola Soames afterwards has said that that was not the apology they were looking for or that they received. What's interesting is that Mr. Watson, a few days ago, in an article, did apologise for his use of language, but he hasn't gone anywhere near that far. This time, this was incredibly defiant. No hint of a suggestion that he would apologise to Lady Brittan or to the family. And I think that this story will continue now because he has made no steps to apologise. I think there will still now be a number of Conservative MPs who will be demanding that in ever increasingly loud voices. And the fact that David Cameron also weighed in today saying that Mr. Watson should examine his conscience, I think means that the Conservative Party will continue to demand those apologies in the coming days.
Vicky, many thanks for the latest there in Westminster. Vicky Young, our chief political correspondent there.
And that response has the potential to detonate an almighty row between Tom Watson and Tory MPs, livid at his refusal to back down. I understand the Conservative MPs on the Home Affairs Select Committee are all urging the chairman of that committee, Keith Vaz, to summon Mr. Watson to their committee. And based on that performance, it's a platform that Mr. Watson may well seize.
Sir Nicholas Soames has been responding to what Tom Watson said. He said he failed miserably to respond to criticism. He said Tom Watson's statement was a non-apology and his conduct was completely unacceptable. He had become a sort of witchfinder general, Sir Nicholas said. He said, I agree with Tom Watson that cases of child abuse have got to be rooted out and have got to be dealt with. But here you have the police finding Lord Brittan had no case to answer and failing to even tell Lord Brittan, so he died with this case hanging over his head. I really do think we've got to bring some order to this debate, which at the moment is running out of hand. The words of Sir Nicholas Soames.